Hello Flosstube, I'm Debbie. Welcome to Grandma's World. And this is another Flosstube event that I don't know what's going to happen. I have been, let me just take this opportunity to talk a little bit about Grandma's World as a channel. Grandma's World has several different playlists in the channel. One is my Flosstube playlist, and it's the one that's been getting most of my attention for the last several months. But there's also a channel, a playlist, I think it's called Fiber and Floss, where I'm putting, the plan is that I will put progress reports on quilts and other kinds of fiber and fabric projects that I'm working on. There's also progress report playlists. I'm doing renovations in my house, and I mean, I'm doing them. I'm doing the painting. I actually repaired a ceiling. My brother still can't get over that I got up there and repaired that ceiling, but I did. And I'm getting ready to install some closet hardware and finish some painting, and I will hire someone to put in my new flooring in my guest room, but I need to get the rest of the room done before I can do that. And then once that's done, my front room, the bed that's in my front room is going to move into that big room and be my guest room. So it's some renovations that have a domino effect on them. And then I'm also renovating my front yard, and that's been a year-long project that's coming to a big benchmark any minute now. I really thought I was going to make it today. My goal was to have what I call the meadow cleared out by the end of the month. And I thought today was the 29th of June, and I won't be here tomorrow or the next day. And so I thought, well, I'm not going to make it by the end of the month. But then I went and checked, and today's just the 27th. So I got enough done today. I'll spend Sunday and Monday with my mom, and then Tuesday morning I can get out there and finish the work that I have left to do on that part of the project, and I will have completed what I need to complete by the end of the month. So I will be posting some more about that, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. I've been putting so much time and effort into cross-stitch reports, and it's been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot about YouTube by doing them. But it's not what I wanted Grandma's World to be. I wanted Grandma's World to be a place where my family and friends could come in and check in and see what I was up to throughout my life, just not with one hobby. So I'm going to be probably spending a little less time with my Flosstube reports so that I can spend a little more time with some of the other things. For example, I have a box here that's collecting Disney merchandise. Because part of Grandma's World is Grandma's Disney stuff, and Disneyland, we're not going to Disneyland right now, where before COVID we were going every month. But I have been buying things from personal shoppers and from Shop Disney and from people in other countries, and as it's delivered, I'm just putting it in this box, and when it's all here, at least most of it is here, then I'll do something for the Grandma's Disney stuff playlist in the Grandma's World channel. So for right now, I'm back in Flosstube and just gonna be kind of pushing things more so that I can get in and edit some of the other stuff that I've been neglecting because I've been spending so much time with Flosstube. So last week was a big week, a lot going on. I had some finishes. I had one finish, and this is my second finish of this calendar year, which hasn't happened in years. So I'm really excited about it. This is the piece that I've been working on at my mother's house when I go and visit her. By the way, very, let's see if I can find the picture, excited for my mom. She started a quilt for my brother about 3 years ago, and she did a lot of work on it and wasn't able to finish it for him in time for his birthday, in time for his birthday. And so she just gave him the unfinished top. And she wasn't really excited about it, and he wasn't really excited about it. Nobody was really excited about it. It was attractive enough, it just wasn't, it didn't knock you over. And she could never work up any enthusiasm to finish it. But it's been hanging over her that he never had a birthday present that year, and she really wanted him. He's a musician, and he has a music studio, and he goes out there about once a day and stretches out on a couch he keeps out in his studio and takes a nap. And so she wanted him to have this quilt out in his studio when he wanted to take his naps. At any rate, she started a few months ago to knit an afghan for him instead of finishing that quilt. And she's been working on this. She's 88 years old. And I wasn't sure, because she has a few thinking problems at 88, and these are not a big surprise, memory issues and all. But I wasn't sure she would ever knit again, and it's a really big passion of hers. And by golly, she did. She had 2 needles break on her, circular needles, until I finally was able to get her one that stayed together for the rest of the project. But she finished it, and she gifted him with it yesterday. And so our whole community here, people who know my mom, are really excited for her to have finished this beautiful. She said it was marked as an intermediate level. She has done Aran knit sweaters and cable work and all kinds of really intricate knitting projects, but she knows she's 88. And so she didn't necessarily want something that was going to be too hard for her. And sure enough, this thing, it was labeled as an intermediate project, but it wasn't. And so she finished it, and she worked hard on it. And so we're really excited for her to have done that. I don't have a picture of it to share with you. I will just say that it was really beautiful. She did a good job on it, and she was proud of it, and we're proud of her. So that was what she worked on when I go to visit her. What I worked on when I go to visit her was this project. It's based on a Plum Street Samplers chart called Cod Keeps. It ends up not looking anything like this, but I loved the 2 little projects. They're 2 little, I did see these. I bought it at Shepherd's Bush in Utah, and they were about this big, just little pin cushions. And while I was there, I had also seen this fabric and decided that what I would do is adjust that set of charts into a sampler. And so I was able to finish that last week. And I'm happy with it. It's not, I made a lot of color changes because I was working on this darker fabric, and when I go to post this, I will go through all of the color changes. This poor thing, because the Shepherd's Bush bottle was not the called for colors in the Plum Street Samplers anyway, and then I changed them out of that. So I will go through and make a list of what ended up going where. But I'm really happy with that. My guest room is going to be ocean themed. It's painted all in turquoises, and I think this is going to be just fine in there. For guests, it's just fun enough to be in the guest room. For other progress, this week I'm working on the shores of Hawk Run Hollow, and let's see if I can get this up there. I was working on the ocean part. I didn't finish the ocean part, but I was able to get quite a bit of it done. It's really interesting to me. She called for the number 927, this color, to be used twice in the chart in 2 different places, and she calls it something different in both places. One of the places where it's used is this little reel of water down here. And then, of course, the ocean. And I think it looks, I'm using it right off the same skein. It's just not, I know that there could be eventually a color dye lot issue with this, because I did have to buy a new piece of it, or a new skein of it, to continue with this chart. But this is all off the same skein, and it just looks like it's variegated to me. And I think it's because sometimes I worked the stitches all in this direction, and then other times I went this direction, and I think how it's picking up the light actually changes the color. And it's all right with me, because I was going to I was thinking about exchanging wherever 927 was used as an ocean color, I was going to switch it out for a variegated anyway. I already bought the floss. Changed my mind and decided to keep it to the called for color on the ocean pieces on this. So I got my wish anyway. It still has that little bit of life that would come from a variegated piece. I had to go get something. Oops. The other work in progress that I've been working on, I had a birthday last week, and loved the idea of picking a birthday project. So I chose this one. And it's the only Quaker style piece, meaning I assume all the little motifs, that has actually appealed to me. I have really no desire to do one of those big Quaker motif samplers. But this one, because of all the birds in it, there are birds all over the place in here, I wanted to give that a try. So I chose, and I want it eventually into a pillow in my bedroom, on my bed. So I chose this really pale green. I bought it at Shepherd's Bush, and I don't remember what color it was. I don't think I still have the packaging, but if I do, I will definitely share it. Okay, let me do this. And it was an adventure. It always is. I ordered something for myself that came last week, finally. Let me show you this first. This is the box that came in. I've been waiting for it for months. I don't know how anything could get so mangled. It's from the UK. It had to go through customs, yet it didn't seem to be open enough for them to really have investigated it to see what it was. But this is what it is, what it was, completely unharmed. It's a little brass frog. She's very sassy, and when she shows up, she is very sassy like this. And I do a lot of frogging. I don't know why I seem to do as much frogging as I do stitching. So, just put it right there. Sure enough, that's how I started this one out. I counted to the middle, started in the middle, got the bird about halfway done, and said, this isn't gonna come out right. It was a good 20 count too low in the frame, and it was gonna, once I finished the rest of it, it was all gonna hang down here. So I had to frog her all out. Decided that it probably would be a good idea to go ahead and do the border around her, around the bird. See how there's a border around it here. This thing, I got this border put in, and that gives me landmarks and corners and things to work on to really help. And I'm using a Threadworks. I believe the name of this is Bubblegum. I had ordered some variegated from Mrs. Sadis, but when it finally came in here, it was too intense, really too almost, they weren't the sweet pinks that I wanted for this piece. They were more in your face, almost psychedelic. and they're beautiful. They just weren't what I wanted for this particular piece. So I have 2 hanks of the Threadworks, and I can still think I can get it close enough to use if I need some more. So yeah, I got this far on this this week. So that was more progress. And was that all I worked on? I think so. Corona Hollow and my birthday piece. Again, it was my birthday this week, and so my haul is, I have a generous family, oops, and so I have a lot of haul to share. There was a bit of a miscommunication or a not communicate. I didn't communicate. My birthday was on Monday, and my mom wanted, as far as COVID goes, we have a pod that's me and my mom at my mom's house. She doesn't come here. I go there 3 times a week. My sister, who's usually at work, my sister's son, who's usually playing video games or asleep upstairs, so he's not really with us too much. And then my brother, and my brother and I share most of the daytime supervision for my mom. And so we are in touch with each other and exposed to each other. So for my birthday, we all got together on Sunday at my mom's house. And my younger son does live close enough to have been involved in that. And I probably should have let him know that we were doing it, but I'm still trying to protect him and my grandson from exposure to this virus. This is a real scary virus, as well as my mother, trying to keep her protected. So if they haven't been part of our pod, I did not mention this to them. So I got a call from my son, or got a text message from my son the day before on Saturday saying that there was going to be a Father's Day get-together at his mother-in-law's house. And even though COVID, he understood that COVID still makes everything iffy. If I wanted to go there for Father's Day on Sunday, I could. And I said, well, actually, we're celebrating my birthday at Grandma's on Sunday, and I still wouldn't want to try to expose. Still would not want to expose anybody else to this if I have indeed have been exposed. So he was upset with me. He said, I remembered when your birthday was, and I said, I just didn't tell you. I just chose not to tell you because I wasn't going to risk you. That's all. That's all it was. So anyway, when I got home Sunday from the celebration at my mom's house, I had gifts on my front porch from my son. And one of them was this little guy. And I thought maybe my grandson had picked it out. And his mom says, no, they don't take him to the store. But if they had taken him to the store, he would have picked this out. So it's just a cute little dinosaur with a succulent in it. It's really very small. I get it up by the camera and it looks huge, but it's not. If I get it by my head, it's a real cute little thing. And he may go live in the fairy garden. I'm not sure yet where he's going to end up. And then something else that may end up in the fairy garden is this kalanchoe. And I have a space that I'm putting together in the fairy garden that has some white plants in it, and I may plant this kalanchoe there. But I was very intrigued with this pot wrap. It's a turquoise leather, and I think it's going to end up making its way into my guest room. And I may even keep the kalanchoe going in it so that there will be a plant in the guest room. So I was really excited about that. And then there was a card, and each of them had put their message on there, and including the 2-year-old who just turned 2 in May, and he did that little scribbly message to Grandma that always means so much to us. Okay, and then for gifts from my family, mostly off my Amazon list. And apparently that was funny because my brother did the computer ordering for my mother on her behalf. Based on my Amazon list, and she kept saying, I don't think she wants that. I don't think think she wants that. And my brother was going, it's on her list, Mom. I think she does. So one of the things that was on there, I'm really intrigued by people and their record keeping with their cross-stitch projects. And I saw this one, Notebook for Cross-Stitch Charts by Art of Design. And with my love for all things ocean and whales and mermaids, this one had a lot of appeal. And it's set up nicely to keep track. The title, the designer, an inventory number, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. The design theme, circle all that apply. I thought that was kind of interesting. The pattern dimensions, date purchase, coverage type, floss information, brand, color name, number of skeins needed, and so on. Project bag or storage place, that's kind of intriguing. If I could get all of my projects documented in here and then put in where they are stored, that would have helped me. I'm still looking for a Disneyland piece that I was sure I bought. I'm sure I have it, but I cannot find it. So that, I'm going to get started with that. I thought I'd start by doing that finish with all the color change numbers, and then move through the ones I'm working on, and then maybe if I get some downtime I can go into the ones that I kitted up for Mania and start doing that. This was from my brother, and it is a coming soon. They didn't realize that it's in the UK, but I'm getting another R&R lap frame to use with Q snaps, and I will be happy when that comes. This is the 11 by 11 with the 8 by 11. So my goal is to have like 4 projects going all the time. I have Firefly Fairies is on my big R&R frame, covered with my Garn Toten bag. Large bag fits perfectly over it as a dust cover. And then I have Shores of Hawk Run Hollow is on my K Creations lap frame. And so I have one 11 by 8 that I don't have anything on just yet. And then I'm going to be working on that birthday piece, and I may put that on it. I haven't decided yet. I love the abundance of options. This was something that my mom got for me. It's a panel, quilt panel, and she said, I don't think this is the right one. I don't think this is the one you wanted. And I said, you're right, it isn't, but I'll put it in with the Halloween fabrics and I may be able to use it. I may be able to make a project bag out of it, or just put it in with my Halloween stash. Something will come up. Something always does. I can make I have several sets of fabric to make wall hangings, Halloween wall hangings, and this would make a really good back on one of them, I think. So that's, so where I was, had to go get something. So where I was is that there'd been another delivery from a catalog by Thursday. And this is the piece that I had asked for, that I did want. And she just doesn't believe that I would want something like this. She thinks I want only pretty things. And I'm like, are you kidding? This is wonderful. Look at these birdhouses, these crow birdhouses, all boarded up and spooky birdhouses. Is so totally me with my bird stuff. And so this will be a wall hanging that I'll get up at some Christmas. But see, this is the kind of thing she thinks I want because I love butterflies. And so she has now bought me this twice, and I don't want it. This isn't my, what do they call it now? This isn't my wheelhouse. It isn't in my wheelhouse. I think it's very pretty, and I think she should take the two of them and make a table runner for her table, because this is her. This is totally my mom. So we'll see if I can help facilitate that for her. And I appreciate the effort. And yeah, I do. I love monarch butter. So I have two big pieces of fabric in this design way. Not this fabric, but it's clearly the same artist. And I bought it last year, and this is what has come out this year. So I wanted a nice big piece of this. And then this one was also shown in the same catalog in the same place. I'm not sure it's the same designer, but it could be. It's close enough. And then there's a panel that goes with it. And I don't know that I would use all of the panel, but it goes with it, and I wanted the option. And it's the lighthouses and the whole Cape Cod, Eastern Shore idea is what I'm really into. So yeah, I did want those, but she argued with my brother. I don't think she wants those things. And then I had gone already when Joanne opened. This was one of their new boxes. She and I are addicted to these boxes. And I wanted this one with the lobster buoys and the lighthouses, live cities with an ocean breeze. Totally into that. And that's where I'm going to keep these fabrics so that I know what's in there. And I don't, oops, a little frog jumped onto the dinosaur. You know, I'm not sure that I'll ever do anything with them yet, but I'm not done with my house yet, so who knows. I just really like them. I like the messages they give. They gave me, I had asked for, and now I don't know where the other piece is. Probably still at her house. 3 different tools to help me hang things on my walls in my new guest room levels. I'm going to create a headboard using artist canvases wrapped in fabric. 5 different of them to make a scene behind the bed, and I want them to be perfectly aligned with each other at the top, and so these are the kinds of things that are going to help me with that. And there's a third one with 2 levels, and you punch them in and they give you the pilot holes, and I don't have it with me, so I must have left it at her house when I was playing with it, when we were playing with it there. And then everybody got the hint about the Q-snaps, that I needed Q-snap frames, so I got 2 8x8s and an 11x11. And then the lap frame is coming in. And this is what the other tool looks like. I just don't know where I put it. I don't remember putting it in the car, so I have a feeling it's over, that my brother probably wanted to look at it, and it's over where he sits, I think. So that was a lovely birthday, very generous of everybody, much appreciated. And then for other haul, I don't think I have other haul. I think I managed to get through the week without buying anything that's here. Now, I bought things that aren't here yet. I was part of the Bestitch Me FNFN last night. That was fun, and I ended up with 1 piece of fabric, possibly 2, but I don't think the person's going to give it up, the one that I had of me next. And now we're getting ready for Jolly July. And so as far as plans go, I have 2 ideas for Jolly July. I would like to take this piece to my mother's when I go to visit her. That's 3 days a week. And it is actually on one of the R&R lap frames that I already have. So if you haven't seen how those work, it goes like this. So I can be working on this one at her house. Jolly July is when you're doing Christmas things in July. And this is the By the Bay, Santa at the Seashore. And I would like to work on that at my mother's house on the 3 days a week that I go to stay with her, which is how I finished the Keeps. And this is earmarked for the same room, just during the Christmas season. And then to be working on here, I will continue to work on the Shores of Hawk Run Hollow and on my birthday piece, but I would like to add for the holiday, I think it's in here. This little bird piece, and I think I've shared this already as part of haul last time. So I will be redoing this bird, branch, plant, and stocking the whole thing, which I think was from Cross Stitcher magazine about 10 years ago. Cross Stitcher, December 2006. Let's try 14 years ago. And that's not even the right one. Oh, here, this gives you an idea. This little guy. So there's more leaves over here. So the leaves, the bird, the branch, the stocking, all on this fabric, which is the sheet music to White Christmas. I still have to decide. I have to lay it out, think about it, live with it a little bit to decide just where on that music it's going to go. Kind of leaning toward I think my favorite line in the song is may your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. And so I'm going to want to avoid that part of the music. And then that means covering up something up at the top more. But those will be my Jolly July projects. And I think that's it for Flosstube. I have been doing so much work in my yard. I'm probably out there. First of all, the weather has been perfect for working in the yard in the mornings. And then it gets too hot. Let me back up. Where I live, I'm near the coast. And so I get the marine layer that comes in overnight and sits on us during the morning until about 11 or noon. So I've been going out at about between 7 and 8 every morning and just digging and digging and digging and working in my yard until the sun comes out and it gets too warm to be working in the sun. And at that point I come in, take a shower, and I am pooped. I am really proud of what I'm doing. I have my front yard, my lawn, what used to be my lawn, as of this morning is almost gone. I've got one more session and it will be gone. And I just turned 69 years old. So that this old lady has just been digging away at this front yard for a year and finally has it all out of there, and now can do the fun part of planting a new meadow. I will call it. It was a socially unacceptable meadow, and now it will be a socially acceptable meadow. And I'm almost to the point where I can actually start having fun with that, working in smaller areas and putting plants in rather than dig them out and so on. But I do that in the morning, and it pretty much wipes me out for the rest of the day. So my week looks like Sunday, Monday with my mom, and I get nothing else done. I just spend the time with her, and I stitch at her house. But other than that, I don't get anything done. Tuesday, I work in the yard. And then Wednesday is my day to go to the chiropractor to fix the damage from Tuesday. And that's when I do my errands. When I go to Costco, when I go to Trader Joe's, I plan everything around ending up at the chiropractor in the afternoon, and then get I don't get Tuesday tacos, I get Wednesday tacos at my favorite Mexican takeout place, and then that is my Wednesday. I'm not real productive in the yard on Wednesdays. On Thursday, I'm back at my mom's, and then on Friday and Saturday, these are my really heavy duty days that I work really hard, and then I'm wiped out. So I've been out there. I was out there 3 or 4 hours this morning. I got so much done because I had watered, because I am where I am. It's not because I'm that close to the ocean. It's because there's a barranca behind me, and I think that my yard was filled with a very sandy sill, a very sandy fill dirt. And it doesn't have much in the way of nutrition in it. I have to add a lot of compost and fertilize a lot, but it is a dream to work in because it's so sandy. It reminds me of my grandfather's garden, and he did live at Redondo Beach. He did live near the beach. So and this morning I had watered it. It was the perfect ambient temperature, was the perfect temperature to work in. The soil was the perfect texture, and the grass was just jumping out of the ground, and so I stayed there and enjoyed that. And by the time I was done, by the time the sun came out, I had it almost all done. I have maybe an hour's work on the next work day. It'll be Tuesday now because I'll have Sunday, Monday with my mom. But yeah, I'm excited because now it's just going to be maintaining it for a while and getting the plants in. I have some plants to put in. I have others I can go buy now that I have the space cleared. So that's been fun, but it does take time away from stitching and Flosstube. Plus, I have a new grandson coming, and I never got the quilt made for the first grandson because I had a knee replacement surgery that took forever to get over, and I just didn't have the wits or the stamina to make him a quilt. So what I'm going to do is make his quilt, and I got the last piece of fabric for that this week, the perfect piece. So I'll get started on that, and then I have another quilt to make for the new baby, and I think I can get them all done. The 2 quilts plus a Christmas thing that I had promised my son. I think I can get them all done before the baby gets here in December. Plus, I still have to work in the house. I want to get everything done in here before that baby comes in December. So, yeah, I won't be doing as much stitching. I won't be doing as much recording as I have been doing, but I am still going to try. My favorite day to record Flosstube is on Fridays. I will have done my yard work, gotten cleaned up, waited for the mail to arrive to see if any haul comes in, and then sit down and do my Flosstube for the week. So I will be trying that, and that's it. My brain is dead. So I'll say so long, and I'll see you next week.